Hello everyone. So by the time you watch this, I'll be just waiting for everybody to pull up in chat. Mainly because I said I was going to do this in Discord. We're going to watch this video together. And I'm just waiting for people to come in now. So yeah, hello to anyone that's here early. Hello to anyone that's in chat. If you see me looking this way, it's just because my second screen is over here. So that's where chat is. And on the main screen is where I've got the video waiting. We'll just see who's coming in, and then away we go. Let's just type in here. I imagine because most people are from America here that we're not going to get too many people in round about now, so I'll start it up in like, what, another minute or so? And we'll go over it. Time to suffer the cringe, says Shinju. That was a tongue twister there. So yeah, this is like my, what, the third stream of this year, so fun stuff. But yeah, nice to see people slowly coming in. Nice to see you again, Shinju. We'll give it another 30 seconds and then we'll go. I imagine other people will chime in later on. So yeah. Can't wait to see where this is going. Already have some ideas, but you know, it may surprise me. I'm gonna have the audio on pretty low because of copyright, obviously. So fun stuff. So yeah, give it 3, 2, 1. Nah. Okay. Hey Proof. Hey Shinju. So I guess we're all in this together. Let's just window mode here. There we go. Honestly, the only thing I want is for the Gundam fan gathering and Gunpla battle. I think that says, you'll have to excuse me, my chat is slightly cut off to the side here. Maybe before we go into this, I'll just quickly, there we go. I'm windowing that so I can figure out what was going on. Okay, so, we're going to go into this now. I'm going to click it and away we go. This is by Shin Gundam on YouTube. They've got this, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, away we go. Okay, so they're already saying it's multi-platform here. Sorry if you see me breaking it down all the time. I like the old guy though, it's cool. So they've already shown it off on what? A PC there, now they're doing mobile phone. I couldn't keep track of the other ones. Oh, it's your standard Metaverse avatars. They look like the Facebook ones a little bit. Okay, so, wait. 3 collies. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so I'm already getting stuff here, so I'm pausing it automatically. So we've got, what? Original Gundam, Seed, and Hathaway. And if this is anything to go off what's already been reported, then these are some of the colonies they're going to set up that are dedicated to each individual series. I don't quite see why they would have to do that, because that splits your fan base across a wide selection of different things rather than just put it under one banner, but okay. They seem to suggest that it was completely the opposite, that they would do that for different things like gaming and other things. Okay, this bit I like. I can get behind. This is what I kind of imagined it to be like. You know, you go into like this hub world and you see everybody flying around. Worst side 34. Okay, so I paused it again. You can see these, as Shinju said, they look like hideous monsters. We can see a couple of other things in the background. Obviously, with Hathaway's Flash being one of the most recent things at the point of doing this video, you're going to see it a lot. We've got what looks like it's a bird guy in the background. That's pretty cool. You got everybody walking around doing whatever they want. This is what they call the communication lobby. I'm just going to keep stopping and starting here. We've got what looks like an elevator or something in the background, but then we've got lots of posters advertising Gundam. We've got the RX-78 and the Barbie here, and then a Haro. This is looking pretty cool. Oh, we got Shansaku too in the corner there. Is that... Oh, okay, so he's choosing an accessory for his avatar. Okay. Oh, this is like PSO2. This is what I was imagining as well, with like events similar to this where it gives you a countdown, says like it'll be in this location, then everybody goes to that location. Why does he just jump and start floating? Okay, so that's copyrighted music, so I'm gonna have to turn that down. Virtual stage. Okay, so this is very much similar to what we've got at the moment. I know, like, a lot of stuff to do with the Metaverse is basically what we have at the moment, but this is reminding me a lot of, like, if you've ever watched Gundam live on YouTube with the chat on, that reminds me of that, but just in person. So that's not too bad, but it all depends on whether, Shinju said, I would rather stare at a pumpkin head. The one thing that has me going here is whether or not avatars are going to be able to block each other's view while watching these big screens. Like a mask on there? Automatic translation. Okay, so you can buy Gunpla over there. And then they're going to go check that out now. Okay, so here we've got the cross-promotion thing, which is shown off in other Metaverse videos. We've got Tamashii Nations here. Anaheim, that's just in universe branding, but they've got mobile... Yeah, they've got mobile Gundam Breaker there. So this isn't just the Gunpla shop like it says. It's multiple cross-branding things. I do like this. That reminds me of Breaker 3 a lot. You know, just the setup with the 3 suits. It'd be cool if you could actually go into, like, a museum or something that shows them all off. Okay, so he bought it online on his phone and it's getting delivered to him. I imagine that's only going to be in Japan. Then again, this is just me going off the top of my head at the moment. Okay, so that was, what, a perfect grade Strike Freedom? Okay, so he scans it with his phone. And it immediately goes in-game. Okay, so I'm assuming that's in his lobby that he's in or something? Are they going to have... They've got to have dedicated areas for something like that, because otherwise you'd have everybody scanning their stuff in, like, 24/7 just to show it off. You'd have so many mobile suits all over the lobby. There are going to be, like, specific areas for that, I bet. This battle thing is interesting. Like, they're setting it up. It looks a lot like Build Real, if you saw that over the past couple of months. But this has me interested because they're saying this is part of the system. I imagine this... I'm getting ideas for this now, and it's pretty funny. I imagine this is going to be running New Gundam Breaker's code, and I'll explain that in a moment. So for anyone that doesn't like New Gundam Breaker, well, you might be getting a little bit more of it. This is just guessing and speculation, but it's based on what we already know, plus what they've already done, and the technology that's available to them. So yeah, I'll describe that in a moment. But yeah, we've got everybody looking at battles on the main screens. That's all cool. Like, I can get behind this so far, apart from everybody looking like goblins. You know, it's neat. It's another neat way for fans to interact with each other. I can still get behind it. I'm optimistic on it. Apart from the Gunpla battle bit. Now, the reason why I'm going to lay this out for you guys in the way that I'm doing it now is primarily because, you know, I'm a big critic of New Gundam Breaker, primarily because of the effort that was put in. I'm just going to put this back to a good scene here for the moment. There we go. It's still a bit pixelated, but... Right. So the reason why I say this will probably be running New Gundam Breaker's code is because not only have we seen that recently in the event in Japan where they were scanning suits in and that would go into what was essentially New Gundam Breaker's engine. For anyone who wants to look at the video and try and compare, it's up. Just go have a look at it. It's pretty easy to find on the channel here. But what you see in those promo videos that were live recorded from Japan is that you see a lot of reused animations and assets and stuff, and because they're already familiar with that code and with that engine now, I don't see them just going ahead and making an entirely new system on an entirely different engine or whatever just to do a promotional thing like that. They'll have taken all of the stuff and just enhanced it a little bit. You can tell just if you've played the game or if you've seen video footage of it, they're reusing assets, which isn't bad in itself. What was bad about New Gundam Breaker was the way that it handled and stuff. But the reason why I say that this is probably going to do the same thing is because, and I had to search this up just before I did this video, just in case I got it wrong, was that New Gundam Breaker runs on Unreal Engine 4, which isn't a bad game engine. The thing that was wrong with New Gundam Breaker is that it was heavily rushed, right? So, or at least it seemed heavily rushed. The reason why I say this is going to be very similar to New Gundam Breaker and the promotional thing that was done in Japan is because that uses the exact same stuff, and because this is based online, what they can do is Unreal Engine 4 has a way of being played on websites via HTML5. It's got basically like a plugin, so it allows you to play a game through a web address. So I can imagine them separating this into a different colony that then allows you to play that through your browser. And because it can be ported to like various different devices like mobile and like laptops and tablets and stuff, they can easily downgrade it if they need to graphically to play on those. So I imagine what they're doing at the moment, like I said, this is speculation, but it's speculation with a little bit of educated research into it. I imagine what they'll do is, they'll just do that. They'll just make that part of this. So if you've played New Gundam Breaker before, this will probably be very similar to that. That's just a guess right now. Could be wrong about that, but based on the research and what we have right now from Japan, I can see that being a distinct possibility. I'll go back to this in future if I'm wrong on it as well and be like, look, I need to correct myself. But this is definitely an educated guess, and I think I'm going to be right on this one. I was right on the scanning system with that potentially using New Gundam Breaker stuff, so I'm gonna hold out on this one potentially being right. Let's see. Let's see what chat says. Can't wait to see the TGE. I'm about to make a monstrosity for Gunpla Battle, says Audio. Strike Freedom versus IBO stands. Because why use a superior engine when you have New Gundam Breaker? No. Right, I gotta get into that again. The engine that New Gundam Breaker runs on isn't bad. It's an industry standard one. It's adopted by a lot of studios. It's good at what it does, which is being able to be run on different devices and be tweaked to more or less be whatever you require it to be. The problem with New Gundam Breaker isn't the engine, it's the way that it was built on that engine. It had a load of bugs in it, which people probably knew about but didn't bother to fix. It feels like it was rushed to meet the launch date, which I think more or less coincided, if I remember rightly, with Build Divers, because they had a promotional event for the H2 Magnum. I have a feeling it was rushed and the team didn't know what they were doing with the engine because they were pretty new to it at the time. Bandai have used it for other games and they've had similar problems with it because they were learning to use it. But hopefully things will get better by the time they release the game section of the colony. Wrong choice of words. Should have said gameplay. My bad. I'm trying to ad-lib this also. Yeah. New Gundam Breaker assets. The Gundam scene of Gundam game assets is proof. No, I'm still interested in this. The way that they've like scrolling through it now, it looks like your standard sort of online interaction thing where you get in a lobby, you meet people, you talk to them, you potentially spend either in-game money or your own money on getting like different accessories and things. You go talk to people, you hang out. A lot of this stuff, like we've said before in different videos or we've covered, a lot of this stuff can be done already. They're just trying to put it into one giant interactive experience where they can figure out the size of the user base and then potentially market to them. The one thing that I'm still obviously really worried about is potential data harvesting. That is going to be interesting to see if that's implemented, which it probably will be. I'm kind of just guessing with that one as well, but based off everybody else's fears with the metaverse, I imagine that'll be a thing. It's just a case of how aggressively they'll harvest your data. You know. Audio says, Gundam Breaker 3, good times. Indeed, I can't wait to get back on that this year. I wonder if they're going to add Vidar's mask. So, like they showed then with the Hathaway's pumpkin head, I imagine they'll add the basics for accessories. So that means like all of the masked characters' masks, pilot suits, apparel, like we see the hoodie with the Iron-Blooded Orphans Tekadam flower on. I imagine we'll get stuff like that. It'll all be like branded stuff to really try and immerse you in Gundam so you can't get away with it. Or rather, get away from it, I should say. Wrong wording there again. The reason why I say that is primarily because I've watched other Metaverse videos before coming and seeing this, and they say basically, like, this is a way of promoting other things. So, like, for instance, if you want to promote a clothing line, you just have your avatar wear it, you know, because then you're more likely to be like, yeah, I'll buy that in real life because my avatar wears it, so I'll wear it. So yeah, I imagine that's going to be a thing. We'll get accessories similar to we have in like Gundam Battle Operation 2 at the moment, or the pilot suits from like GB3. Those are just guesses that will probably be right based on the assets that they have in other games that they can probably either port over or just redo again really easily. The most bare bones ones will be stuff like hoodies, trainers and stuff that are just either slightly reskinned or have logos on them, because I imagine they do like one hoodie model or maybe two, like one with the sleeves fully down and then like another one with the sleeves rolled up halfway, and they'll just be able to, you know, like plaster a texture on there with a logo. Away you go. You know, you can reuse that asset multiple times, have it in different colors, put different logos on it, and it's pretty easy. For avatar customization, we've yet to see that, but I imagine it'll be your standard fare with anything nowadays that has avatar customization. We'll have to see how limited that will be. Personally, I don't want to like a gremlin, so I'd prefer it if they put a lot of effort into the customization. I would have liked it in this PV if they'd have shown off a little bit more variety with that, but it's a PV. They're still getting the head around the idea, so of course it's going to be up in the air as to what the final avatars will look like. I imagine because Gundam is more aimed at sort of like I was going to say teenagers, but we all know that Gundam fans have a wide age range. I imagine there will be some customization there. Just at the moment, all they've got is these assets for the PV. You know. Difference between why on the ad-lib subject does your avatar lip gloss nowadays? Wait, what? I have no clue. Difference between Seed and NGB is one was popular, the other isn't, says Shinju. Wonder if it'll be FTP? Free to play? I imagine so. I imagine it'll be free to at least get onto the service. There might be some sort of money transaction thing for other interactions in game, I imagine. But again, these are all guesses at this point. I prefer my guesses to be based with some sort of, you know, information being there already. But for stuff like that, it's kind of like a shot in the dark as to whether they will actually do that or not. You'd imagine to not annoy plenty of people and to get more people onto the system that they would make the majority of it free to play. But this is Bandai Namco we're on about. They could do anything they want, you know. Audio says it will be like real life Gundam series they did. Yeah, it's seeming that way. By the way, why does your avatar have heterochromia eyes? Ah, surprise. It's a surprise and a secret. Shinju says, I hope they will give us actually good-looking avatars based on Gundam anime art styles. Again, it's all going to be up in the air at this point until they start finalizing things. Again, this is all just PV stuff. It's all just CG that they've put out to kind of get feelers out there for how many people are interested. I imagine they're looking on social media now and trying to figure out how many people are actually viewing this stuff and how many people say they're interested, gauging the reactions and stuff. I imagine they actually have a customer service division dedicated to gauging reactions so that they can kind of either increase hype or put out more promotional material in future within, say, like the next couple of months or so to keep people's hype, pretty high. It's just something other companies do. Everything in that metaverse will be gacha like GBO too. I mean, they've done gacha in the past and made quite a lot of money off it. I would not be surprised if they did gacha. I think that's a dream team, Shinju, says Proof. Let's hope they read "People don't want to look like a crotch goblin," says Shinju. Yeah, I honestly hope that we get something good out of this. I've said, like, to do with all of this stuff that they've shown off, a lot of this stuff can be done already in different areas. The idea of a metaverse is to try and market to a much broader and larger audience by centralizing all of the stuff. What I'm interested in and what's in the back of my head at the moment is because metaverses are kind of like if you go off the Fortnite style setup where they obviously had a starting game that they then changed and started just importing everybody else's franchises into. That's essentially kind of what a metaverse is supposed to be. It's supposed to be one area where you can collect other things and market those to the same user base, which should technically keep growing. What I imagine would happen in future after this is all set up and they've sort of got a decent user base is that we may end up seeing other things being shown off in the colonies that aren't Gundam related. Like, for instance, Bandai Namco do a load of like different video games like Naruto and stuff. I imagine that kind of stuff may be put on billboards in the background, stuff like that. Dragon Ball, One Piece. This is just something that was in my back of my head when I was thinking about it and when I was watching all these different videos by people like Kakarot197 and Josh Strife Hayes. These were all the videos that I was recommended before, and I'm just thinking about it and trying to figure out what this may look like, and that was something where I thought, okay, they may introduce stuff like Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Digimon in the background. It'd be kind of cool, but I wouldn't want that at the forefront in a specifically Gundam sort of experience. I imagine they'd just do a different platform and put that stuff on there. That's why I stopped it at the Bandai Tamashii Nations section before, because I was like, okay, we've already got a crossover there with Tamashii Nations, Robot Spirits, so of course that's where you get all the Robot Spirits figures. But again, that's not Gunpla, but it's a cross-promotion that get people aware of that, so then that's promoting more of their stuff and getting people down the avenue for buying that stuff that they may not have otherwise found if it wasn't for that. I'm only saying that because, they're coming at this with people being incredibly stupid and being like, oh, I don't know how to Google search robot spirits. That's how they're probably thinking right now, is you have to approach the users if they know nothing, so we'll funnel them into robot spirits through this part of the shop. There's another one for Gunpla, there's like multiple for Master Grade, Perfect Grade, Real Grade, High Grade, Super Deformed. I imagine that's kind of how they're going to split stuff up. Very similar to like the anime section. I imagine they're going to implement the YouTube side of that into the video watching section for like live streams, because they've already noticed they can get a lot of attention and make a lot of money off YouTube through views like that. So I imagine what they're going to do is just embed YouTube in that side of things. Yeah, that's just where I'm going now with this. It's all plausible right now, but it's just a case of will they actually do it or not. Damon says, God, these avatars look like trash. I've been in a metaverses before. It was called that, says Shinju. Yeah, a lot of us have been in different things like Second Life and stuff where all this kind of stuff happened already. It's the new buzzword thing to try and make a load of money off it, you know. The biggest word is the metaverse itself, and it's not really liked by the community. No, it really isn't. Who cares about Naruto or Dragon Ball? We want Side 34 to be a thing, says Proof. Dude, that's gonna be like down a back alley somewhere, you know, like the start of Build Divers Re-Rise, where they go down a back alley and find a portal into a complete whole nother world. It's gonna be like that. It's like, hey, do you want to check out some images? Just come down this alley, you know. Oh, sad to say that kind of thing, but I can imagine it happening. Shinju says, as a Medabots crossover would be another one. That's basically Super Robot Wars, is Proof. But yeah, you can kind of, from the video and also from what we've talked about, you can kind of get an idea of how they would work all this technology into one thing. I loathe the avatars, says that Angel Ray. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the avatars right now. Myself included. I want them to make them better, because at the moment they look a little bit like the Facebook avatars, or the new meta avatars for the metaverse on Facebook, whatever the hell it's called, whatever they're doing now. It looks kind of like that mixed with like the Xbox Live avatars that they introduced, you know, like the Xbox 360, if you remember that, before they then updated them and made them look even worse. Although actually, no, saying that, they actually do kind of look like the new Xbox avatars, because they're absolutely terrible. If you remember the old 360 days after they updated to the next Xbox experience, where they completely removed the Blades dashboard and upgraded it, and then give everybody avatars, just imagine those avatars, but looking way, way more uglier and with less charm to them. That's basically what the new Xbox Live avatars are, and they look suspiciously like this as well. So, if you just want to check out what it could be like, just go over to Xbox's channel and search that stuff. Oh, it's bad. The Metaverse Black Market, says Audio. Yeah. What's going to be interesting is whether they have, like, other people being able to sell some of the stuff to people. I swear somewhere I read that they were looking into user interactions like that. I may be wrong about it, so I'm gonna not say much else about that, but it would be interesting if they introduced the side where you can actually like sell stuff. So it's not just them making money. Proof. Me drives a battleship into said corner and tell the guy to hop on because I ain't gone all day. Damon says, yeah, they're far too simplistic and childish looking. Speaking of Gundam, Dave, did you see the stuff for Witch of Mercury? I did not see the PV video, but I've seen everything else. I'm guilty of making the aerial Gundam, like, the moment it came out in Mass Builder. I spent, like, the entire day almost making the aerial Gundam, so that was fun. I need to do an update on it to include the red sections. That's the only thing I'm missing. I would prefer avatars to look more like VTuber avatars, says Damon. I mean, I'd like to go into this metaverse looking like this right now. I'd be pretty happy with that. You know what colony will sell? Side 34, says Shinju. I'm wondering, like, how far they're going to go with this and where it's going to take them. Because they showed, the reason why I paused originally, was they showed off part of one of the other videos that they were interested in doing different colonies for gaming, for community stuff, for watching things, and I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was for selling Gunpla. But instead, the moment we go into this PV, they're automatically contradicting that and saying, look, we're going to have colonies for each individual part of the Gundam franchise. So, you know, you've got, like, IBO, Wing, Hathaways, Original, and I don't think that would work as well, primarily because you're splitting up the fan base across multiple different colonies. It's just a weird concept when you think about it that way, because then you start joking and saying, well, which colonies would have the most people in them, you know, like active, To which then I think like some of the more obscure ones that people haven't seen wouldn't be that populated. You know, like Victory or something. I imagine not a lot of people have seen Victory nowadays, so therefore that wouldn't be as heavily populated as, say, something like Wing or Seed or Double O or IBO. God help us, we go into the IBO colony and everybody there is talking about how Barbatos is better than every other suit. You know, that seems to be the fan base right now. Don't want to be too negative, but, you know, that's just the way the conversations are going right now. Let's see, 130 million and they will give crappy avatars, says Audio. How far you asked, Dave? Uncensored, of course, says Proof. If they can give us the Build Divers game, but in VR, then I'll be happy, says Damon. See, that's according to them at least, that's what they're trying to do. It's just a case of how well they can pull it off. Given, you know, the previous history with Gundam games, we're coming up to the point where Gundam Evo is coming out. There's a lot of hype behind that, or at least there seems to be a bit of hype behind it. You've got people that were already pro at Overwatch discussing the game and trying to break it down as to what the perfect plays will be and stuff. So you're already getting people looking at high competitive play, and then the most younger fans getting into it and being like, you know what, I'll play this, see how it goes. I'll be probably there day one, just seeing if it's anything rage-inducing like some of the other stuff that we've been on in the past. I'll probably give it up after like 6 months, knowing me. But it all depends on how broken the game is, and by that I mean like how overpowered some suits are, and whether you just get people just playing the meta over and over and over and over again. That's what makes or breaks these games in particular, especially like with Overwatch, where they go through multiple periods of people just playing the meta, and then they have to balance it, and then when they balance it, they break other things, so it's crazy. It's crazy, but I imagine it'll be very similar to Overwatch's lifespan, where there's a lot of stuff like that going on. That Angel Ray says, I know they won't, but I'd like them to pull a VR chat and just let you input your own avatar. Yeah, they probably won't do that, unfortunately, because then, you know, it just devolve into some really crazy stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog walking around a Gundam colony. And that's the least of the worries, you know, with that kind of thing. The PV is short. You can barely see anything with the Witch of Mercury thing. Colony split by anime sounds like a civil war in the making, says Shinju. Yeah, it really does. Maybe Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, but Gundam would be cool. There was a lot of open areas, but nothing to do in Xenoverse 2, if I remember rightly, but I could be wrong there. We need a modern Gundam fighting game. I honestly, right now, would be down for, say, like, an update of the PSP versus games, because they were pretty cool. Or something like, you know, Battle Assault or Battle Assault 2, but obviously with updated graphics. I'd be down for that at the moment as kind of like a mid sort of game to just not so much ease yourself into, but just sit back and have a laugh on. But if it was like Battle Assault 2, you can just imagine some people are going to come in there that know a lot of stuff to do with fighting games and just ruin everybody's time. There's always stuff like that happens. You can't avoid it, but unfortunately it's there. You know, everybody wants Gundam Breaker 3 on PC. That's something that I don't think they're gonna do. I'm not gonna do the stupid thing and bury myself by saying they'll never do it, because there's a very small possibility that they would, but honestly, they'd have to look at fan uproar and also New Gundam Breaker and figure out what the sales were between them and what the reception was and whether it's worth it, you know. As much as fans can turn around and say, yeah, it's worth it, they could easily just turn around and be like, nah, we're not bothering. You know, why re-release a game that we've already released before with DLC and everything else? We'll just make something new and see if they take that, because they've already got this. Why would they buy it again? You know, I imagine that's where they'd come from, marketing and sort of wise that way. Let's see, we need a new Dynasty Warriors Gundam. Yes, please. Just give me, like... Give me something that was on the level of, like, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, but has an expanded roster now, because 3 was out in, like, what, 2012, I think, or somewhere around there? We're missing, like, at least 8 years worth of Gundams. You know, I want that kind of thing again, just to experience it, because Gundam 3 was great. I've not, like, as I've said before on many other videos, I've not played Reborn, so I wouldn't know about that, but Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 for me was fantastic. Hopefully Mass Builder has game modes when the multiplayer comes out, like only melee PvP or something. Mass Builder is going to be interesting to keep an eye on and see where that goes, but that's another conversation. GB3 with mods would be glorious, says Shinju. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure a lot of people have already, you know, been dreaming that stuff up before, being like, you know what, just put it on Steam, give us the workshop, and let's just go to town on it, you know. Damon says, then we can have a full-on Gundam fighting game. Audio says, my beloved Night Gundam. Yeah, yep. But yeah, that was the PV for the Metaverse. Again, I'm going to stay optimistic about this. It looks interesting. If it turns out like the video, it's going to be cool. But again, I'm still cautious about it. 1, with it being the Metaverse. 2, the data harvesting. And 3, because again, it's still in the planning phases at this point. They're basically just doing a fancy announcement and being like, have fun with it, guys. This is what we imagine it's going to be like. It's not to say that this is what it will be like, but it's what they would like it to be like. So, going into this optimistic but cautious, I think, is the best way to go about it right now, rather than just shooting it down almost immediately. You know. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they pull this off, whether it'll be fun or not. Guaranteed I'll be there in future to check out new updates and see what's going on with it, and see whether it does turn out anything like this promotional video. But yeah, until then, I shall see you guys next time. I hope you've enjoyed, and thank you very much for the conversation. And I'll see you on the next video. So until then, thank you for the continued support. Thank you very much. Bye.